Hi everybody, Phil from Hybrid Me doing a short video today on the Garmin R10. Now I'm excited about this because I came back from a day trip with the family yesterday, celebrating a birthday, and suddenly got in and there was a Garmin R10 on my kitchen table because my mother-in-law, who's dog sitting, had signed for it. Brilliant! So I charged it overnight, downloaded the Garmin Golf app, paired the two, which only took a matter of seconds. And I'm able to now go in and use the Garmin Golf app that I'll show you shortly. What I want to know is that for £530, which is very affordable in the launch monitor world, and of course affordable means different things for people, and I understand that, what do you get? Well, on the right hand side, taken off of the Garmin website, it appears to be a lot. You get all the ball data you'd expect. You also get club data, club head speed, club face angle, club path angle, and angle of attack. That is a lot for the money. I'm going to be comparing it to my GC2 and HMT setup. Now that is pretty much a gold standard for indoor usage. It's been around for a long time, tried and tested. Not perfect, still gets some things wrong. Some people feel it may have a little bit of draw bias. That may be relevant for this discussion. I personally probably don't. But this combination cost me about £8,000 probably 5-6 years ago, or even 6-7 years ago. 4,000 for the GC2 and 4,000 for the HMT, and that was buying it used second-hand after about, I think, a year old they were. With the pandemic putting prices up higher than ever, it's harder to get GC2s. You know, I've bought 6 or 7 over the years between 3,000 and 4,000 each. Now they're going for much higher prices, as are SkyTrax and Mevo Pluses and all of the kind of launch monitors, just due to the demand during this crazy lockdown we've had. But it's a lot of money. So how can a product that's £530 compare to a combination that's around 8,000? And I'm going to show you that. Of course, there are other launch monitors out there, things like the Unicore QED and the IXO systems. Unicore seem to be getting a very good reputation, from my understanding. People are very happy with their products. You've got the follow-up to the GC2 and HMT, which is the GC Quad. You've got the ceiling mount systems like the Unicore, but also the GC Hawk. And then you can go up to radar systems like TrackMan and FlightScope. I've got other ones as well. So there are options out there, but for the money, let's see how we go. This is nothing more, not a glossy demo. I'm not going to be showing you how you can play the 42,000 courses. I will be doing that in a follow-up video when I edit something and put together a much better video. This is about first impressions. How do I get on with it? And my thoughts, having spent a couple of hours testing things out and hitting. I'll jump to the chase. Spin axis, spin axis, spin axis. With the radar system and the Garmin R10, it doesn't measure the spin, it measures a lot of other information and then calculates, this is to the best of my knowledge, calculates the spin numbers based upon all the other metrics. With the limited ball flight, and I don't know how well it's reading the club data, we'll talk about it shortly, I think it's getting the spin wrong. And I'm only at the moment using irons from 4 iron through to pitching wedge. But let's show some numbers and I'll let you draw your own conclusions. And this is obviously a very early new product. I've already reached out to Garmin through their support channel to say, can I speak to somebody to ask a few questions to see if there's anything around my setup that might help me produce a draw, basically. So let's get straight on with it. What is on my screen? Top left, cameras. Hello, hello. Bottom left is the Show Golf client developed by Shoei. Fantastic work, allowing me to get the data straight from the GC2 and HMT and display it for you. That is the information that's in white with a grey background, and it's showing all of the data directly from the GC2 and HMT. The reason I've displayed it there is clear. If I go into the Garmin Golf app, I'm going to ignore the courses for now. That's not why I'm here. I'm here to show you the system and how it compares from a hardware point of view and what it's measuring. You can go onto the range, and of course you will see the ball flight, but I'm going to focus on the numbers. The ball flight's down to the software and how it wants to show it. The numbers are what's being actually measured and calculated. So I've got the grey background numbers from the GC2 and HMT directly alongside the numbers that are coming from the R10. And without further ado, I'm in Shank Central. I'm just going to go through a few. I'll talk about the first few, and then I'll just hit some so you can see the numbers on screen and go back on the video and pause it and draw your own conclusions. I'm going to start by using the pitching wedge. Should add, I've got 10 feet worth of ball flight. I've got 6.5 feet behind me. It says between 6 and 8 feet. I have tested with shorter and longer, and hasn't made a much difference. So I'm sticking with what I've got the 6.5 feet back at the moment. Already I can see HMT didn't pick everything up. I've just put dots on the club, so we'll go through the data that was read. Carry distance. Now this is a calculated, not measured figure. Obviously, we've only got 10 feet of ball flight, so it's down to the individual flight algorithms used by Garmin, used by Foresight as to how far it carries. However, my experience are the carry numbers are generally pretty good. And if you're going to be looking at using the R10, again, I'm jumping ahead. I think for things like bag mapping and gapping distances, it could be very good. But let's go through it. 121, 121. The first number I read is going to be the R10, the second one, the GC2. Ball speed, 97, 96. Launch angle, 28.5, slightly high, 28.1, very close. Launch direction, 0.2 right, so practically straight with the R10. 1.4 left. Now, of course, there may be tiny alignment issues. I've done my best to align the GC2 and to align the R10, but there could be minor differences. We'll have to see. Backspin, 7,600 R10, 7,900 GC2, very similar. Side spin, 254 draw, so very little draw on the R10. 1400 draw on the GC2, so significant. If I do show you the ball flight, you'll see there it does show it, and I'll do that on the next video. Club speed 77, 82.1, so that's showing the HMT is reading that as faster on the HMT than the R10. We'll miss smash factor because that's just the calculation between ball and club speed. Club path 2.6 right. And that is into out 2.6, and for the HMT it's 2.8 into out. So very similar numbers. I didn't unfortunately get the rest. Let's try and hit a few more. So I'm just going to hit 5, but I'm not going to talk about, just so you can look at the numbers yourself. Let you get red. Again, unfortunately, I'm not getting. I'm trying to hit a fade. It tends to pick up the dots better. No, it's probably my dodgy dots. Let me skip straight on to 99 and hope that these are better for the HMT to pick up. I only put dots on this morning, so maybe the picture weight wasn't done well. Let's go through the first one. 130, 131, 101, 101, 26, 26, 1 degree right, 0.1, so very similar. Side spin, 271 of fade on the R10, 92 of draw on the GC2. So we're already beginning to see different ball flights. Club speed, 81, 82.5. Club path, 1.5 left, that's out to in on the R10. Club path, minus 1.1, so that's 1.1 out to in. I'm just checking. Yep, not like we said, so very similar. Club face, 1.3 open. Club face to path, 4.9 open, it's saying on the HMT. And angle of attack, 8.2 down, 4 down on HMT. Five, and let people go back and you can look at numbers. Let me just look at the side spin because that's what I've been concerned about. 306 of fade on the R10, 382 of draw on the GC2. Okay, that wasn't as good as thought. So again, side spin, 600 of fade on the R10 and 400 of draw on the GC2, which is the pattern I am seeing, which is why I've reached out to Garmin to try and figure out why. I'm moving up to 7.9. Okay, let me just go through the first one set of numbers. 154, 154, 110, 110, 17.2, 17.6. So really close these are. 0.8 right, 0.4 right, really close. Backspin 5,000 R10, 5,400. Similar. Side spin 953 of fade versus 95 of fade. Big difference. Club speed 87, 87. Angle of attack minus 3.4, minus 5. Similar. Club path 7.2 out to in. It's showing on the R10. Club path 2.3 into out on the HMT. So again, worlds apart. Face 2.6 open on the R10 and 0.2, so practically square on the GC2. Again, I'll hit 3 or 4. So I'm on the HMT a minute. When I talk club data, I need to be talking about the HMT. That wasn't a good strike. For the test, let me try and sling. I'll probably shank it, but I'll try and really sling a 7-iron. Close the club face down, into out. So that was a massively closed club face, into out. Carry 167, 166, 16, 116, 130, 13.4, 14.9, all pretty close. 0.2 left, 0.8 left, very similar. Backspin 3,300 R10, 3,800 GC2. Again, not that far out. Side spin 875. So okay, you got that one. 875 of draw versus 1,477 of draw. What else have we got? Let's look at club path. 7.5 into out, absolutely. And the HMT said 7.5 into out, so identical. Face to path, 2.1 closed on the R10, 5.7 closed on the HMT. I'm going to just try and sling another. Okay, managed to start that right, so this will be interesting. 159, 159, 112, we're getting the impression those numbers are pretty good. Then we get down to the backspin, 4-3, 4-2, pretty good. Side spin, 370 of draw with the R10, 933 of draw with the GC2. So you could conclude different algorithms. I mentioned the dreaded draw bias. Moving on to, let's say 4-iron. Let's try 4-iron. Oh, that almost a shank. I think it was a soft shank. I'll go through it. 159, 170. Fair bit of difference, mainly the launch angle from what I can see. 8.8 versus 10.6, a bit of a difference there. 3.1, 2.8 launch direction, similar. Backspin, similar. Side spin, 800 of fade and 800 of fade. So very similar numbers. Let's look at the club path. 3.9 out to in on the R10, 2 into out on the HMT, and face 4 degrees open and 2.8 open. Angle of attack 5.3 for the GC2 HMT and 3. Let me try and get a proper shot with this. Yeah, it's better. We'll get as far as saying proper. 174, 185. So we are getting a lower carry, and again the launch angle is lower with the 4-iron with the R10, so that might be causing the carry distance to be less. Similar numbers down. Backspin 2.5, so very low backspin on the R10. 3.3 on the GC2. Side spin, very similar numbers. 33 left, 17 left. Club path 0.7 into out on the R10. 0.5 into out, very similar. 0.3 face open, 0.8 open. An angle of attack 5.2 down, and 8.1 on the R10. So I thought those two did them in the wrong order. So let me, I don't have all the club dates. Let me just hit a couple of mid-irons again. 7-iron. Check it as a 7. Then I'll stop the video. So that was a decent enough strike, pretty straight, little bit of a draw. And this, here we get difference, 161, 162, 13, 114, 18.3 versus 19.6. So, 1 and a bit degrees difference on the launch angle. 5 very similar backspin numbers, only 15 out. Side spin, 600 fade on the R10, 181 draw on the GC2, and then looking at the path data, again the club data, because that's what's interesting me. 4.8 out to in, it's saying on the R10, and it's showing club path as 1.4 into out on the HMT, and both are showing the face open. So the face seems to be correlating better. The club path just seems to be iffy, and that seems to be obviously producing the different spin numbers. So it seems to be R10 is seeing out to in swing path rather than into out. So I'll try and hit a slingy one again. That was a really nice strike based on drawing it round. So 175, 170, 19, 19. Big launch angle, 2 degrees difference here. Direction similar. Backspin, 1300 less on the R10. Side spin, 700 fade versus 550 draw. Big difference in how that shot is going to finish. Let's look at the path data again. Club path 4.7 out to in on the R10, 2.9 into out on the HMT. So that's the issue really, that I'm getting quite a few that I would expect nice strike, definite draws, consistent with how I play, and they're showing as fade. So hopefully I can get a bit of information to see if that can be tweaked. I'll just hit a couple of 3-woods. You won't get the club data, but let's just see how they compare. That's a pull hook. 3.2 left and 576 spin left. Let's see how it shows on there. So 224, 230, 145, 145. Again, a degree lower launch angle, which is obviously the lower carry again. Launch direction, similar. Backspin, a little bit higher, 700 higher on the R10. Club speed, similar. Club path, we weren't looking at path. But the side spin is 500 of draw on the GC2, whereas it was only 58 on there. So let's try and hit another one. Okay, that one, different ball flight. 2 part carry number the same, ball speed the same, launch angle 1 difference, launch direction identical, backspin a little bit lower, 700, 800 lower on the R10. Club speed, similar, 3 different. Angle of attack 4.9 on the GC2 on the HMT, and it's showing 7.2 a bit steeper on the R10. And the side spin 218 of fade and 578 of fade on the GC2, so not a massive difference there. What else haven't I done? Okay, a couple of wedges. Again, I haven't dotted them up, so it's probably, I won't go into too much detail. I'll just hit a few 60-degree wedges. Just see how the numbers correspond. Again, I expect that to go left, yeah, left and hooky. So we won't get the HMT data, but we can see that that is started 3.5 left on the GC2 and had 1800 spin left. And on the R10 started 2.1 left and had 834 left. So it's just kind of like half the, less than half the spin. $52, $51, $53, $53.6, $34, $34.7, 0.8 minus 0.5, so 1 and a bit difference. Massive difference in backspin, only 5,900 on the R10, 8,700 on the GC2, and side spin 1,700 of draw on the GC2, 137 of fade on the R10. That's a fair bit. It's just to give instinct. So you know, for the price, I like it. I think it's really good. It's been reliable. I just don't have the confidence that it would be reliably showing those draw swings that I'm confident I've hit. Let's see how things are. But you know, everything has to be weighed up against the cost of it. And in an outdoor situation where it's tracking the ball fully, it should be able to come up with even better numbers, which would be fantastic. In the indoor environment, there's a compromise to be made, but that's a lot of money to be saved. So this is just first thoughts. I have bought this with my own money, so unlike when I borrowed the Mevo Plus and had to return it, I'll be updating versions. I've contacted Garmin to see if there's anything that needs to be tweaked, try and get guidance on whether I should be having it slightly further back, raising it above the level of the mat, because it says it needs to be at least level with the mat. And yeah, it'd be interesting to see how things progress. But I do like it, other than questionable spin axis. Goodbye. I would like this video if you like it. If you don't like it, don't click the dislike. That gets me really upset. You can if you want. Goodbye, bye, bye. Oh, I'm tired. My back hurts.